Greetings, my name is Kerry and welcome back to my channel. I am very excited today because I'm taking part in my first ever blog tour, which is really fun. I'm so pleased to be involved with promoting this wonderful book. The book I'm going to be talking to you about today is called A Deadly Coincidence by Keith Finney. This was published by Loom Books. It comes out on the 15th of July 2021. And I received this from Love Book Tours and from the publisher in exchange for an honest review, and thankfully I really enjoyed it. So I can honestly say I thought this was a really fun book. This is a cosy mystery set in Norfolk in the 1940s during the Second World War. I'm going to give you a synopsis and I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the characters, and then I'm going to give a brief summary of my thoughts. This is going to be a spoiler-free review, so I'm not going to give away any details. Like, I'm not going to tell you who done it, for example, but I'm going to tell you enough so that you can get a bit of a flavour of what the book is about and what it's like, and hopefully encourage you to pick up a copy for yourself. Set in 1940s Norfolk, this enchanting cosy mystery follows the adventures of Anna Grix. She is the daughter of the vicar in the village of Lipton St Faith. She is trying to establish the facts behind the mysterious death of the local postman. She's assisted in this by a visiting American airman called Eddie Elsner. The police have decided this death is an unfortunate accident, but Anna and Eddie are convinced that something more sinister has been going on, so they quickly begin to investigate. And they soon realise that there's a lot more going on in the sleepy Norfolk villages than would meet the eye. I'm going to give a couple of content warnings now. This is a cosy mystery, so none of this is very graphic, but it's just so you're aware if this is a book that you want to read. If these are things that you are going to be sensitive to, I just want you to be aware of it going in. So obviously it's a murder mystery, there are murders. Not described graphically, but there is some description of injury. It's set during the war, so there is some reference to bombing and destruction of property in that sense. And there are deaths that are unrelated to the murders, including a death of a parent. And because of that, there is reference to grief and coping with loss. There is also a plotline that relates to infidelity and a plotline that relates to a kidnapping. Those are some things that you might be sensitive to. I don't think it's a spoiler to mention those. I just want people to be safe when they're reading. And if any of those things might be upsetting to you, just be careful going into this book. But as I say, it is a cosy mystery. They're not described graphically or explicitly. They are just things that some people might be sensitive to. So the main character is Anna. She is definitely the central protagonist, and she was a really fun character. She's in her mid-20s, she's lived in the village all her life. As her father's a vicar, she's well known to everyone in the village, and she has a real love and respect for the village and for the community, which sometimes comes across in like a slightly snarky way. But she still really does care about the people, and that's what drives her to try and figure out what is happening, why the postman has died. Basically, she doesn't accept that it's just an accident. She wants to get to the bottom of what's happening because she cares about the community, and particularly about his widow, and wants to help figure out what's happened so that the village can move on. The second protagonist is Eddie, the American airman. They meet in a really interesting way, and Anna's very persuasive, she's very stubborn, but she does have a heart of gold. And so the way she convinces Eddie to help her is really fun. I really enjoyed their relationship. I can't tell if it's like gonna develop into a romance or if it's just gonna be a really fun friendship, but they are quite teasing with each other. There's a lot of back and forth and jokiness between them, and it's just a really fun thing. Eddie himself, I feel like there's a lot more to learn about him. He's a really intriguing character, and I think we only just scratched the surface of what he's like, so I'll be interested to see. This is a first book in a series. I'll be interested to see how his character develops and what else we learn about him. And then there's a whole cast of side characters, and they all felt really quite well fleshed out, even though it's quite a short book. My favourite characters in this were Anna's parents, the vicar and his wife. They were just a really lovely couple and really cared about the village and the community and supporting the people through a really difficult time of not only war and air raids and all of that sort of stuff, but losing members of the community. And I thought that was handled really sensitively as well. So I really liked them as characters. There's also Tom, who's the local police constable, and he grew up with Anna, so they're really good friends, know each other really well, and he was a really interesting character because he's trying to play everything by the book, but also is very susceptible to Anna's charms. I kind of feel like he holds a bit of a candle for her, and so again it would be interesting to see how that particular relationship develops in future books. So he is kind of helping Anna but also not helping her, and it's really fun seeing him trying to figure out how he can help her without getting into trouble with his superiors at the police station. There's a kind of shifty character who is an ex-boyfriend of Anna's called Walter. It's not entirely clear how he's involved in the plot, but to start with, he's just kind of seems to be there as an irritant to Anna, but he does play actually a bit of a role in figuring out the culprit. And then there's also like the village doctor and the village busybody and various other people that Anna encounters in the village, and they all just work together to create this real sense of community. So, summary of my thoughts. This was a really fun cosy mystery. I really loved the setting. Norfolk is one of my favourite places in the UK. I used to go sailing there a couple of times every year, and it's been a while since I've been there, so it was really lovely to read something that was set there and like I could picture all the places. There's one scene that takes place at Horsey Windpump, which is one of my favourite places in the Norfolk Broads, and so it was really lovely to read all these really vivid descriptions of the Norfolk countryside and just picture how all these villages lie. Lipton St Faith, I'm pretty sure, is a made up village, but a number of the other places he refers to are real places in Norfolk, so that was really fun. I also thought the setting of the Second World War was really well handled, and it really did feel well represented, very evocative of the time, the problems with things like rationing and how people were having enough, flour to live on and that sort of thing, all fed into the plot as well. So it was really essential to the plot. It wasn't just, oh, I want to set it in the wartime because that'll be fun. This was actually things that directly had relevance to what was happening in the novel, which was really, I thought, really well done. I really liked the way the village and the residents were described and set out and presented, as I've already mentioned. It really did create this feeling of village life, which was really lovely. It's the sort of community that I would quite aspire to live in, and so I thought that was really well done. The mystery itself was a really good mystery. It was really intriguing, and I was really trying to figure out what could have happened, how this situation could have happened. I liked that one of the themes of this book was exploring how ordinary people could have hidden lives. For me, the one very slight thing that slightly dampened my enjoyment was that I didn't feel like there were quite enough clues for me as to one of the perpetrators of what happened. I like to be able to have a go at figuring out what's going on, and I didn't feel there was enough opportunity for that for me in this book particularly, but I did think the reveal worked. The perpetrators made sense, they were the right solution for the puzzle, and I thought the reveal was really well handled. Just for me, I would have liked a few more hints along the way personally, but that's only a very slight criticism of a book that I mostly really overwhelmingly enjoyed. There was also a really adorable subplot about an evacuee that I thought was just beautiful and really well done. So for me, one of the reasons why I read cozy mysteries or murder mystery stories in general is because I find them a good palate cleanser. And this really worked for that. I've been reading quite a lot of heavy fantasy and science fiction recently, and so this was, even though it's a murder mystery, this was fun and light and an easy read, but in the best way. The characters are endearing, the setting was wonderful, the mystery was intriguing and kept me wanting to find out what happened. So all in all, this was a very enjoyable book and one I would definitely recommend. From what I understand, this is going to be the first book in a series. I think there's 3 books planned, but it may be more than that, and I'm really excited to get the next one. I would really look forward to reading more from this series and spending more time with these characters and in these lovely Norfolk settings. And this is not the first series this author has written, so I'm quite keen to go out and pick up some of his other books. I think he tends to write a lot of historical cozy mysteries, so I understand maybe there's another series that's set in the 1920s, which that really intrigues me, so I'm really keen to go and read more from this author. So all in all, heartily recommend this book. Thank you very much to the publishers Loom Books and To Love Book Tours for sending me a copy. Thank you for letting me take part in this blog tour. Yeah, I really enjoyed this book and I really recommend it. I think that's everything I've got to say, so thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you think you might pick this book up. Leave me a little message in the comments or some recommendations for cozy mysteries that you've enjoyed. I'm always up for reading more of those. Or if you just want to let me know you've been here, leave me a detective emoji because it's a mystery story, just to let me know that you've been watching and have made it this far. You can also like this video if you liked it and subscribe if you haven't already, and also follow me on my social media. All that information is listed for you in the description box below. But that's it for today, so thank you so much for watching and I will talk to you again soon. Bye!